Hello, everyone. Today, we will look at a game played by Garry Kasparov. We looked at one of his games a few months ago. Um, Kasparov, before Magnus happened, was considered to be the best player of all time. And he was known for a very dynamic style. He liked to have active pieces. He liked to attack. And the game we're going to look at, he actually played against another really good player, Nigel Short. In fact, back in the 90s, Kasparov and Short played a match for World Championship. So Nigel Short was a very good player in his own right. This game was played in 2001, and let's take a look. Kasparov with the white pieces. He starts with c4. Short plays the French defense, pawn e6. Kasparov plays the main move, d4. Black challenges in the center. And here white has several options. On slightly lower levels, you see takes or pawn e5 a lot. On slightly higher levels, you see the knight coming either here or here to defend the pawn. And Kasparov chooses knight d2. The main difference between the two moves is if white were to play knight c3, black could play bishop d4 and go to the winover, which is quite complicated. It's something that I'm going to show at some point later. Knight d2 instead by Kasparov, and now black has several options. Black can play in the center with c5, which is what happens in the game. Black can take the pawn. Black can play knight f6. So let's see. c5. Kasparov simply develops the knight, knight f3. He's supporting both of his pawns. Makes sense. Short plays knight f6, putting more pressure on the e-pawn, and Kasparov decides to push it. So pawn e5, the knight drops to d7, and Kasparov simply plays pawn c3. And now we have our usual French structure with white having more space, but black is quite solid. He is challenging the center, and also Kasparov's knight over here is maybe not the best knight in the world. Okay, short plays b6. And the idea is in the French defense, this bishop is not very good. So a lot of the time, black tries to trade it. And this is what short is trying to do by playing bishop a6. And Kasparov plays a very, very, very nice move. He plays bishop b5. So what's the point? Well, the point is if black plays bishop a6, Kasparov will respond with a4. After this trade, this knight is a little bit stuck over here. He can't go here, he can't go here, he can't go here because there is another knight there. And black can play a6, but white does not have to take. And remember, black cannot take the pawn because of the pin. And remember, for the pin to go away, the queen needs to defend the rook, but it cannot do that because of the knight, which cannot move. So this is why Short did not play bishop a6. What did he do? He simply developed and got ready to castle. Okay, they both castled. Castle, castle. And Kasparov plays rook e1. Nothing special, just improving the rook. Short gains a little bit more space on the queen side, pawn a5. And Kasparov's knight does not make any sense over here. So he plays knight f1. The knight will come here, possibly. Occasionally here. For the time being, he can also bring out his bishop, which used to be blocked. Bishop a6, well, this bishop needs to do something. Kasparov continues with his plan of a4. Short trades, and still black has the same problem. This knight cannot play chess. And this knight is also kind of stuck. So short tries to get it unstuck. He plays rook e8. And short has this plan. He'll bring out this knight over here, which will allow this knight to come in. And he thinks he can do that because the position is pretty closed, so he has time. In general, the rule is when the position is open, it's a good idea not to waste time maneuvering a lot. And when it's closed, you can take your time and maneuver. Um, Kasparov plays knight g3, natural move. Short continues with his play knight f8. And now Kasparov plays a move which you see a lot in the French. And you don't see it into many other openings. In the French, there is no knight over here by definition. Because in the French, a lot of the time, there will be a pawn on e5. And because there is no knight here, it allows white to play knight a5. And put a little bit of pressure on this pawn. You don't see it too much in other openings, but in the French, it's a useful idea. Now, black can kick, but it weakens the dark squares a lot. So, this is why short for now just plays knight d7. And Kasparov plays g3, which looks like a mysterious move. But Kasparov has a point. The middle is closed, and Kasparov wants to attack. So the way he wants to attack, he wants to play h4. He wants to move the king up. He wants to bring the rook back to the king side, and eventually he might push the h pawn. Okay. Knight g6, short continues getting his knights into the world. Kasparov gets more space, and short continues. Kasparov continues with his plan. And short needs to do something here. He can't keep improving his knights. His bishop kind of reached its limit. Black doesn't really want to push this pawn because of the rook activating. He would like to wait for this to happen, and then he might push. So for the time being, he plays queen d7, which is a useful waiting move. He puts a little bit of pressure on this pawn. He's expecting white to defend that pawn with a queen. He connects his rooks. Okay, and this is where Kasparov plays an incredible move. He plays bishop h6. And this is a useful idea to remember. Okay, so obviously this pawn is attacked. Now, black has a problem. He cannot defend this pawn. So he took. But what's the point? Well, the point is now this queen is going to come in. Queen d2. Okay. And then once the queen shows up over here, this will be checkmate. And the knight plays a nice role controlling the square. Okay, so short tries his best to defend. Plays f5 to try to connect the queen over here. The downside, of course, is this knight also controls this square. So that means en passant, pawn takes. Short drops his bishop back, bishop d8, defending on this line, and Kasparov simply takes. And now, although he doesn't have a checkmate right away, but he does not need to checkmate instantly, he can carefully prepare it. Black tries to add some defense with rook a7, and Kasparov simply plays knight g5, puts more pressure here, but more importantly, there is a threat of pawn f7, which cannot really be stopped. Black plays queen takes pawn. His rook now tries to defend, but of course f7. Black takes, and now Kasparov wins very, very simply. He takes the rook and finishes with a checkmate. Queen g7. A nice and quick game by one of the best players of all time, chess legend, Garry Kasparov. Remember this idea, especially in the French, it's a very useful way to attack, putting your knight on h5. And if you're able to pull something like this off, it's quite interesting and fun. I hope you enjoyed this game. I hope you enjoyed this idea. Please like, please subscribe, and more material will be out shortly. Thank you.